All right, next up we got Vincent Turner. Let's check it out. It's good to see you, by the way, Matsuur. How you doing? So, you've got, let me see actually what you were saying. General employability. All right, so right now, oh man, dude, have you been doing all of the challenges? That's awesome. So these two were quite strong. This one was really strong. This is actually on the list for getting onto the Instagram, which I need to post more on. This one also looks very good. I really like the storytelling with the dirtiness of the bottom of this. Like those little fingerprints down there. Yeah, this one feels nice. Oh, my eyeballs. For compatibility reasons, 3D is not available. Sweet, thanks, man. Wow, that's interesting. So if they can't give me 3D, they give me like a pre-rendered round table. What? Man, they think of a lot of stuff. That's great. All right, well, I'll just keep moving on. This asset looks good. This one also was one of my favorites just because there's a lot of like attention to detail with storytelling and like how stuff broke down. It's weird to me that the ones that are broken are lit, but I mean, it would be nice if some of them were not lit, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, see at night that or in your darker scene, that looks awesome. I'm just gonna kind of skip around some stuff. I think material wise, right now, materials are probably bringing the overall portfolio down in quality just because it's conflicting with telling me what you want to be. Like you're saying environment artist and prop artist, but like a third of your portfolio is materials. You know what I mean? So like, and there's nothing wrong with the like. Obviously, they're not like this one is not very. What? How would you say it? It's not very realistic. Like I can tell you're learning, and as it continues forward, you are getting better. Like this one's probably the strongest one because it looks like you were thinking a lot more about how the surface is, like how smooth it is, and what's metal and what's not, and how to create marble realistically, and yeah. But I would suggest if you want to be an environment artist or a prop artist, I would probably just put these in like either a single tile that brings you to all of your materials. What's up, Tish? And or just post these in a blog if you're yeah you've got pro, so you've got a blog, right? I wonder if are you posting in the yes you are. Oh yes, the subway scene. Yeah, so think about what to do with those. This asset actually, this one calls to me just because I'm seeing it formatted in this way. So right off the bat, like I get really not irritated, but it scratches me the wrong way. Does that make sense? This spacing here versus this spacing means it's kind of offset a little bit, which is like, oh man, it's offset. So then I got to click it and see what's going on in here. Yes. So love the dirtiness up here in the light. It shows some age and stuff, but the material on the outside here is very conflicting with itself. Like I'm not sure what it is. I guess it's metal. But the way that the wear is showing in the normal and in the roughness is telling me all types of stuff. Like, is it smoother and then it's overall like scraped? Is it a pattern that's on it? Is it like Is it concrete that's slightly reflective? You know what I mean? Like understanding the material and then adding that layer of definition to it is going to be really important. And I mean, the albedo looks pretty good. I think it must be in the roughness and the normal map, because like it doesn't necessarily need to be that rough to display the type of material that it is. And Tej is right. It does have a bit of a leathery feel to it, because leather tends to have like that overall kind of like roughness, surface breakup happening. That's kind of happening. Like it's like it got foil painted. Yes, and Tej says to control your frequency more. That's why I'm like, this stuff, you could just make that smooth with maybe a few scratches to let you know it's metal. Those scratches maybe are either a bit more reflective or a bit more rough. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of information in your normal map, which probably can be in specific areas in order to tell you more information. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, I'm going to comment on this right now. So this is cool that it's got all the little breakup and details there. Depending on how a game is made, if like all of the lights in the game are using the same maps here, then I think it works. But I would assume that this probably just needs to be packed into this map. Like it would just be snuck in here somewhere. Probably right here. Like there's no need to pay for another one of these. And I understand it's probably because you're trying to get that resolution nice and high in there. If that's the case, if you're trying to get the resolution, you could map one of them and then just do these colors in your shader. Yeah, the other thing is emissiveness, but I mean, I think that still you'd put it in here unless you're being told otherwise in your studio, because I think it would be a per studio basis situation. But yeah, you could use one light and then switch between the colors in the shader. Yeah, that's actually a super good rule. Keep your normals and diffuse relatively clean, if not very clean. And wherever you need the wear and tear and the damage and the dust and the gunk and the buildup, that's all going to be in your roughness. Like almost always it's going to be in your roughness. Unless it's very, very destroyed. Because if it's like this is like it's been burnt and it's survived through a fire, you know, and that's just going to ultimately change the entire surface of the metal. Yes, let's see what else is going on here. So this challenge was pretty fun to watch because everyone was quite active in it. The door looks pretty good. It's also got a lot of that kind of wear and tear that you like to add. Be careful with how noisy you're making it in your normal. Like you see in the concept, it's pretty smooth. Like you can see in the highlight there, it's quite smooth. And even the wall, I guess the wall is probably where most of the detail is going to go. I think your wall material is actually lower resolution than the door frame itself. So taking the wall and tiling that material further is probably the best approach. And then going with maybe a more like a higher value in the spectrum color. I don't know if that's the right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know the light spectrum well enough. Did you think about when you're using lights, especially if you're using them in a PBR engine, if the lights are physically correct, the color of the light will travel further depending on its actual color. The light will travel further depending on its color. So red should travel the furthest if we're looking at the visible light spectrum, which is why you're seeing all this red over here. But if this is if this is like, what is this in? This is a marmoset, so I don't know if it's going to be a PBR correct light source or a physically based light source. But the if you get into the blue range, like you would expect this to all be dark, so the light would get really narrow here. But you have to remember tube lights are quite bright. These neons, they're really bright. And where you see the color is usually on the outside edge of it, right? So like if I copy this and bring it in here really fast, let's just do that really fast here. So if I do that, so it becomes really red. Man, it's not even doing it for me. Hang on. I'm just going to paint it. After this, I need to move on to the next portfolio. But I think you get the point. Okay. Let's colorize that, make it brighter. So we're almost to that same. So we'll go with that red, right? I'll dupe it, and then I will blur this one. And then this one will be more. That's not even doing it. Oh, I know why it's not doing it, because it's under. Nice. So it's got a little bit of the red to it, but most of the red is on the outside. With that said, I think, let's see here. You should be able to get more of a highlight on the wall, and then that probably needs to be desaturated a little bit because it's a little on the crazy side. But it's going to be pretty bright. Yeah. Neons, man, they're cool. Yeah, the small details are the thing I was talking about earlier. Like you have this really, like obviously in this render, it's not really showing it well. But having a lot of the micro details in here is just, it makes everything very hard to like read and identify. Like you could leave a lot of it in the roughness and then just take it out of the normal. And then if you want to put it back, you're going to put it back in like the little crevice areas where it gets real dirty. But yeah, it's very noisy, especially on the ground and like where it meets the, it's just a matter of balancing that out. Balancing materials is fun, trust me. Once you get used to it, everything just clicks and just looks right automatically, which is so crazy. It's quite common early on to think that you need high frequency detail on everything. You'll get the hang of it though, I believe. All right. Oh, I gotta look at this one really fast. This one came out pretty nice. You see, it looks like you're balancing your details more, which is great. You definitely have, this is your best piece so far. Gets pretty noisy there, but yeah. Be careful with these ones, but yeah, you're hitting some nice elements here. And the edge wear damage here. Be careful with how uniform it is. Okay, next portfolio. We're running a little behind. Gotta be careful.